Hi my loves, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dheandra Nicolette, and today we're doing a get ready with me video showing you guys this look. This is more of like a tutorial style, walking y'all through how I achieve this makeup look, some of my favorite makeup products, and then also some tips and tricks to help your makeup last longer and stay throughout the day. But before we dive into the actual look, the get ready with me for a date night or just like a night out with your girls, maybe a solo date night with yourself, whatever the case is, I want to show y'all some of my new favorite products when it comes to fragrance. So Dossier actually reached out and wanted to send me a couple different fragrances because they know how much I love a good perfume. Like, y'all, I still have to film that perfume collection video for you. Don't worry, I got you. It is coming very soon, my love. But I wanted to show y'all a couple of the fragrances that they sent over because I am literally obsessed. And for a date night, I think these two fragrances that I have in front of me are the perfect option if you want to smell juicy, if you want to smell good, if you're just trying to have you a good night and know that you smell good, so you feel me? So the fragrances from Dossier come in these cute little boxes, which I think are absolutely adorable. It gives you kind of like this luxury feel and vibe as you open them up to reveal your fragrance. Ooh. So one thing I love about Dossier is that they include these cards in with the fragrances, and the cards will tell you the notes. So the first one that I have here is floral sandalwood, and the top notes are pear, tangerine flower, violet. Middle notes are amorous, orris, jasmine. If I'm mispronouncing these, y'all, I'll have them linked below, okay? And the base notes are vetiver, musks, amber, and sandalwood. And this scent in particular is inspired by MFK's Amorous Extrait de Parfum. Oh my gosh, I took French for years, and like honestly, the fact that it doesn't show is kind of embarrassing, but we're just gonna move past that, okay? This is a 20% concentration fragrance, and I am super excited. I love anything sandalwood scented. Now, I won't even play y'all, I will not cap. I did smell these before doing this video, and like I said, I'm obsessed. I actually wore this one to the gym today, and it was just so amazing. So I'm gonna spray it right on the card because I'm trying to decide which one I wanna wear today. So this is like a really, how do I describe it? It's floral. If you are not into floral scents, I say still give this a chance because for the longest time, I thought I wasn't into floral scents. And I remember being like, no, I like more musky. I like more like almost masculine scented things, but this has this beautiful like floral scent to it that isn't too overpowering. And then it also has that sandalwood that comes through and kind of cuts it. So you are getting some of that more musky, masculine, kind of like, I don't know, for me, the smell that I get from this is giving old money. That's just the way I gotta describe it. It's giving very much old money. So if that's what you're trying to smell like, girl, floral sandalwood, and the fact that it is inspired by an MFK scent, it just simply means that it's going to be very closely related to the same scent family that that MFK scent is in. So if you've ever smelled that MFK perfume, this floral sandalwood, which I love their packaging, this floral sandalwood from Dossier is going to be very similar in terms of the scent. So let's move on to perfume number 2. Again, we have this gorgeous packaging, which I'm obsessed with, okay? And then for this one, it is called Ambery Cedarwood. I mean, I feel like there is very much a pattern here of the type of scents I like, but you know. Okay, so the top notes are mandarin, cardamom, orange blossom. Middle notes are jasmine, sambac, cedarwood, and the base notes are, ooh, girl, heliotrope flower, amber, and vanilla. Anything with the amber. Anything but an amber, sign me up. I'm smelling this freaking floral sandalwood and I'm obsessed. It smells so good. Okay, this one is inspired by the Mugler. Okay, again, if I'm mispronouncing any of this, like y'all, please don't come for me. But this one is inspired by the Mugler scent Alien. So this is inspired by the Alien perfume. This is an 18% concentration, and we are gonna spritz this one on the card and see if this is the one that we're wearing for tonight's date, or it's actually gonna be like a day date, but you know, we're gonna pretend it's going into the night, okay? It's going into the night. So let's spritz this one on the card. Oh, okay. Am I extra or am I extra? This smells so good. Hold on, let me spray one more time. Okay, this one is also floral, but it's a bit sweeter. So instead of that kind of like, I don't want to say harsh sandalwood because it's not harsh at all. It's almost like, again, if you're into musky scents and kind of like a little bit of that masculine feel with your florals, floral sandalwood would be perfect for you. This one has a bit more of like a sweetness to it. It kind of gives me a bit more of like a feminine ethereal princess, sort of like walking in the garden of roses type of vibe, and it is so pretty. This is so pretty. So if you're into florals but you kind of want something a little bit more lighter and fresher, this would be it. In terms of like day and night dates, it's so funny because I feel like this ambery cedarwood would be so perfect for like a day date, for something where you're going out on like a picnic or going to the museum or just going out for lunch, whereas floral sandalwood, I feel like this one would definitely be better for going out in the evening, kind of like, you know, more of like getting drinks, going out to the bar, that kind of vibe. But honestly, perfume is perfume and you can wear them whenever you want. So thank you so much to Dossier for sending me over these perfumes. I am, like I said, super impressed and obsessed with the scents that they sent over. And yeah, I will have everything linked down below for you guys, including these two perfumes. If you are interested in possibly purchasing them yourselves, I'll have my link down below. So now that we've kind of covered the scents of the night and just the vibe that we're curating for our evening in terms of scent, let's go ahead and dive into the makeup portion of this video and get ready with me. Okay, my love, so we're starting off with a blank face, a blank canvas. I have all of my products in front of me. I always like to use this little hair bando thing to pull my hair back when I'm doing my makeup because I hate getting makeup in my hair. Then for primer today, we're using this Milk Hydro Grip Primer. So this is a primer that I've been testing out recently and I really like this one, honestly. Y'all know that like slightly tacky feeling on your face, so it kind of makes it feel like your foundation is like sticking to your face a bit more. This isn't a primer that I would use for like pore filling or anything like that. It's definitely one where it's not going to be filling in your pores like that. So if you like that kind of smooth, silky canvas, I wouldn't recommend it for that, but I would recommend it for those days where you know you're about to be wearing your face for like hours and hours and you just want something that's going to make that foundation stick, baby girl. So this is that primer for me. So I'm putting this all over my face. And y'all, I love how I was like, I'm gonna film me a get ready with me tomorrow, and this little baby right here popped up. Who invited you to the party? Like, nobody. Today in the video, I was like, I want to really have fun with my makeup. I want to experiment a bit, like try different products that I haven't used in a minute, or products that like I haven't used a ton in my collection. So one of those for foundation today is this Makeup Revolution foundation stick. I'm obsessed with the Makeup Revolution foundation in the bottle. It's like, it almost kind of looks like a giant concealer because when you take it out, it has that like giant wand brush situation. That foundation, I kid you not, I get the best compliments, the most compliments when I wear that one. So I decided to purchase the stick foundation and I'm in the shade F13. If you see me looking down, I'm looking in my mirror because baby, the camera is too far away for me to try to be looking in that viewfinder to do my makeup, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and apply this directly to my face. I love stick foundations. Like if you're into that sort of like creamy, like really dewy look without being too shiny, I feel like cream foundations and stick foundations are really where it's at for that. I think I applied a bit too much, but you know, we just vibing today, okay? We just vibing. And to blend this out, I'm using this old ass e.l.f. brush. Look at this girl. This brush right here, it's falling apart. But one thing about an e.l.f. brush, it's gonna stay together until it's gotta fall apart. And right now, it's still together. So we are gonna use this, okay? And this is just the e.l.f. powder brush. I love a nice, densely packed brush for blending out foundation these days. I used to be whatchamacallit, like a beauty blender girl. I was living. One thing about me, I love that beauty blender. It was like my favorite makeup item. But if you prefer getting more coverage out of your products, especially when we're talking like cream products like this, a brush, and specifically a densely packed brush of this nature, is gonna get you more coverage without you having to use as much product. Like if I were to use a beauty blender for this, one, it would be hard because I would have to be pouncing my face so much to move the product around because it is so thick. And two, obviously with a dampened beauty blender, it's going to soak up some of that product, which is nice to give us a more natural finish. But right now I'm going for a bit more of like a full face look. And so a packed brush is gonna do that for me. And I'm blending that everywhere on my face. And of course, you wanna make sure that you blend everything down to the neck area. I'm gonna have to repurchase this. This is giving, like, do y'all see? Can we get into the skin right now? Get into it, baby, get into it. Cause this is really giving for me. Okay. So now that that's done, I'm gonna move on to my concealer, which I don't know why I only have one here. I have this little sample of the Lancome Teint Idole concealer. I love the foundation in this, so I think I just pulled this out because I really haven't used this much because this is a tiny little sample. But we're gonna go ahead and plop this on the face. This is one of those concealers where I feel like the coverage isn't that, like it's like kind of thin. So I'm gonna put on just like a little bit of this, and then I'm also gonna go in with my Morphe Filter Effect concealer. I don't know what shade this is in, but this is one that I really like for a little bit more coverage. I actually need to repurchase this because we're running a little bit low. Again, y'all can probably see the difference in like thickness and coverage immediately off of like the first application of the Morphe one. It's a lot thicker. It's gonna give you more of that full coverage. Like, it's literally called Filter Effect for a reason. So I always put this in these locations on my face. I drag it down a little bit as well, and then kind of let that sit. Now, while that is sitting, I'm gonna prep my powder because I love to go in with like a powder poof to apply my powder. Now, the reason is, and you're probably, like, I feel like it seems like a lot of product, but if you're going for like full face, you want your makeup to last, you don't want no creasing, you don't want to look crazy 2-3 hours in, like this, I'm telling you, the way that I apply these products really makes a difference. So one thing that I do is I blend out my concealer with a brush, which I'll show y'all in a second. But the second thing is making sure that you have a good powder. I have 2 different powders here today, but I'm most likely going to use this one. So I have the Laura Mercier powder. This is the translucent powder. This used to be my go-to for a minute. So this powder is a really good one. And then I also have this Huda Beauty powder in the shade Blondie. So while the concealer is kind of sitting on my face, I prep my powder, and all I do is take the powder and knock some into the cover like so. And you want to kind of knock in more than you think you'll need because we're going to be using, like I said, a sponge to apply the powder. So it tends to pick up more product than like a brush would because it is going to be quite densely packed. Go ahead and knock all your powder into the cap. And while I'm at it, you know what, girl? I'm going to mix some of this Laura Mercier in there. I don't even want to like lie to you. I'm going to mix some of that in there. One thing about these samples though is that they have the tiniest little holes on the thing. So I feel like you got to shake this like crazy to get any type of product out of here. We have our powder prep. So we're gonna go ahead and grab our brush. And for this one, I am using another densely packed brush. This one, I'm not sure where it's from. There's like no label on it, but I always start with my chin. And the method I'm using to blend is I'm tapping. So y'all can see I'm like pouncing and tapping to blend out. This is gonna make sure that you're not dragging the product. When you're applying makeup in layers, you wanna pounce on the skin so that you're blending it out, but you're not dragging product around. Because remember how we set that beautiful base of foundation down? The last thing that we want to do is move that foundation around. We just wanna get that concealer blended. And don't worry if like this area right here isn't like super, you know, the way you want it to, because we are gonna apply some cream contour and that's gonna help to blend that out. The only place that I do drag, which I don't even have a beauty blender with me, is around the nose. So I tend to get a little bit of buildup of product around the nose, and I don't have a beauty blender with me, so I'm gonna use a paper towel, which I don't recommend this, but I always go in and wipe away excess product there. Which you can see got me looking crazy, but then I go back in and pounce product. And do not worry if your nose looks a little crazy, because again, we haven't contoured the nose yet. So right now, everything is kind of blending together and looking sort of like one-dimensional in the nose area, but we will fix that momentarily. I'm gonna go with my cream bronzer. You wanna use most of your cream products before you set with a powder, with the exception of a blush that I have here that I tend to put on top of powders, and it works for me. But this is the Anastasia cream bronzer in the shade Deep Tan. This stuff is so good. And I go in with an angled brush. I'm pretty sure this is Morphe by Jaclyn Hill, the JH04 brush. But honestly, any angled blush or any angled contour brush like this will work. And you just tap into the product like this. Now this stuff is potent, it's strong, it's pigmented. So I take a light hand and I just tap. You wanna start like up here where you're, like it's like closest to your ear, because you want the concentration of product to be closer to the back of your ear. Then I'm gonna go back, and then the way I blend it is upward. You wanna always blend your contour like this, upward into your highlight. I like mine pretty strong. I do have like defined cheekbones, so I like to define them even more. And then I'm blending it upward, and I'm also bringing any of the excess up into my forehead. We're gonna go back in, same tapping motion, and I like to bring some of this right under my jawline right here. I think I actually put a little bit too much, so I'm gonna have to blend that out a bit more so it doesn't look crazy. Where we're just gonna blend, and I always blend a little extra right on my chin to help define my chin. Okay, you wanna kind of look at everything, make sure everything is blended the way you want to. My contour over here on the jawline is a little crazy, but it's all right. We're gonna work with it, okay? We're gonna work with it. Before we set that powder, we're gonna go back in with the same brush that we used for the cream highlight, for the concealer. And y'all see, I don't know if y'all can see, my eyes have already started creasing. That's my eyes. I have like the lines under my eyes. So my concealer, I cannot get away with no powder. My shit gonna crease, okay? So I have to make sure to go back in and blend everything out again. Get the creases out again. And again, same tapping motion, same tapping motion. We're not switching it up. We're not doing anything different. We are just tapping that product in so that it's not creased. And then immediately, before anything has a chance to set, I'm going in with my poof. I'm keeping my eyes like this. I probably look crazy, so that my eyes aren't creasing, and I'm going in with the powder, and I am patting, I'm pressing that powder into my skin. And I'm specifically concentrating most of that powder right underneath my eyes, because I know that if I don't do that shit, my makeup gonna crease there. And y'all know what I forgot. Girl, I done forgot the cream contour my nose. Oh Lord, but it's okay. I'm gonna go back and show y'all how I do that. So I haven't fully set my face here yet, but I'm just gonna contour my nose because I did forget that. I'm using this really tiny, this is actually an eyeshadow brush, like an old one that I have, and I'm just tapping into that product and going down the bridge of my nose and blending that. It is a really strong contour, so it's gonna have to be blended out a bit, and I go back in with that concealer brush and kind of just tap on top to make sure everything is blended. But that is basically that. So now that I've done that, I can go back in and finish setting with my powder. Another place I'm gonna set with this powder is right underneath that contour. So I just drag a line right underneath that contour. I'm also going to apply additional powder around my lips because I get like little smile lines. So just adding excess powder here and kind of letting that bake a little bit is going to help with that. Now I'm gonna sort of like go in and blend all of that out. Okay, I love doing a full face. Like, this is my bread and butter, girl. This is literally my bread and butter. You don't have to do this part, but I do love taking a little bit of like a powder that matches my face to just brush away that excess setting powder that we added to our face. Make sure that everything looks blended. Grabbing my bronzer. Now this is the Sephora bronzer. This is the matte bronzer in the shade Mykonos, and we have to set our cream bronzer. So I'm going in with like an angled brush. This is basically like a large fluffy version of the brush we just used. I'm tapping into this, and I'm just, again, gently setting that powder and going in the same places that we applied the cream product, just in case any of that dimension was lost, we're bringing that back. I also wanna do my blush really quickly. So with blush, I typically will use a cream blush or liquid blush. This is Rare Beauty's blush in the shade Lucky. And even though I have on powder products, I can go in with this liquid. I've noticed that when I do use this liquid on top of my powders, I don't have any issues. I would suggest maybe testing this out if you've never tried this method and doing it like on a day where you're going somewhere where like you don't need your makeup to be perfect, just to make sure that it works for you. I just applied a bunch to this brush. This is a Morphe Jaclyn Hill JH05, and I'm just going to tap this into the area where I want blush. Y'all can see this blush is concentrated. I think that's why maybe some people will use it as a liquid under before they set, because if you go and use this on top of powders and you are heavy-handed, there's really no way to like blend that out. You know what I mean? Like, cause you've done it on top of the powders that have already been set. Also, another thing I love to do with my blush is bring it across the nose. It is not for everybody, but it is for me. And where's my highlighter? I'm using MAC's Cheeky, I'm using MAC Mineralized Skin Finish. This is in the shade Cheeky Bronze. This I love to use like right above my blush. So just pressing that in, same brush I'm using, pressing that into the skin. And because this is not like a straight up highlight, it just gives you this really pretty glow that kind of goes with your blush. And so I love this for like, again, a really pretty glow that doesn't look too like crazy. You feel me? So for my brows, these days I've been using this Precisely brow pencil from Benefit. I feel like I'm in this era with my brows where I don't love them every time. Like, my brows don't come out the way I want them to every time I do them. And I think I'm gonna go back to using powders. Like, don't get me wrong. It's so hard to talk in new brows, but don't get me wrong. This brow pencil is amazing. But I also feel like I need to go back to using powder because that's how I got like the best brows. You know what I mean? My brows are done. They're okay today. I forgot my little brush to help clean up under the brow, but I'm gonna keep it like this to be a little bit more natural and fluffy versus like super, super crisp and defined. So that's the brows. Okay, let's go ahead and get into this eyeshadow. So today I'm using two different palettes. I have this e.l.f. Bite-Size Shadow palette in the shade Berry Red. And then I also have this beautiful Pat McGrath shade or Pat McGrath palette in the shade Ritualistic Rose. So this is just a quad. These are what the shades look like in there. So pretty. This is my first Pat McGrath, and I was like, I have to try this out today with this e.l.f. So we're gonna make this a really simple look. I feel like with eyeshadow, you know, you can literally be super simple with it. So I'm starting with this super, super, super fluffy brush. This is the Morphe Jaclyn Hill JH30, going into this really light shade. So if you have any sort of like mauve light shade, and just applying that into the crease. So y'all will notice that it's not doing a ton of color. And also this is like I think this is my first time using this quad specifically. I have so much eyeshadow that I really haven't like played around in much that I was just like, I need to pull out some stuff that I don't really typically use. So we're gonna go ahead, build this up a bit. It's not depositing a ton of color on my skin, but it is giving us that base that we need to build the rest of the shades and the colors. From that point, I'm going in with this Sigma brush. This is an old brush. This is the E25 blending. Y'all remember the days. I know y'all remember the days, okay? And we're gonna grab the darkest shade over here. That's a matte shade. And I don't know how pigmented this is, so I'm gonna go in and swipe it a bit, tap off the excess. And I just want to apply this in the outer crease of my eye. Again, I want to keep this look from being super like defined and put together. It's kind of like I want it to be messy and smoky and fun. So just building up that shade out there in the outer corner of the eye. And the motion that I'm using is just tapping. Like I'm tapping, dragging, and picking it up. Like, I don't know if y'all could see, that's what I'm doing. Hopefully y'all can see. Otherwise, this video will be a mess if y'all cannot see. And then I'm going in with the same brush and doing a little bit of tapping motion just under my eye right here, because I want to bring some of that shadow under here. I feel like these days I'm big on using shadows as like liners versus using actual like liners. And I'm gonna actually just drag this to smudge it out a bit to make it, again, a little bit more messy and smoky right under that lower lash line. If you have like an eggplant colored liner, I feel like that would be so perfect with this, but yeah. Okay, we're gonna go back in one more time, build out that outer V, drag some of that into the crease. So whatever's left on the brush, just dragging that into the crease with this blending brush. And then we're gonna go back in with the same mauve shade, tap lightly into that dark shade, and just blend the whole thing out. When you're working with eyeshadows, if you're not like really familiar with eyeshadows, blend, blend, blend. That's like all I could tell you is, you know, when things start to look muddy and crazy, go back in with a bigger brush and some maybe like a lighter shadow, that base color that we use, and just blend. At the end of the day, when it comes to shadow, a lot of mistakes can be fixed by blending. So this is our base. This is our base. I don't want to add any more color. You know, this is like a beautiful kind of date night type look. It's a little smoky, it's not too crazy, but we're having fun with the colors, right? Now I'm gonna use the Pat McGrath. I have this really big flat brush. I do not know what this is. This is a Shea Cosmetics. Doesn't really matter, a flat brush. And I'm gonna go into that really beautiful, ooh, which one do I wanna use actually? Let me swatch these and see. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna use this one. So I'm gonna go into this kind of like top shade here that almost reminds me of Pink Lemonade. And one thing I am gonna do to help this stick a bit more, grabbing my setting spray and just spritzing my brush ever so lightly. I don't want a wet brush. I want a brush that has a little bit of liquid on it. And we're gonna go into that powder. And when you wet your brush, especially when you're working with like more glittery types of shades like this, it just helps the shade to stand out more. It helps it to stick to your skin a bit easier. Because as you'll see, there's gonna be some fallout here. Again, I don't really mind too much. But if you are going somewhere where you want your makeup to be a bit more perfect, or you're working with chunkier glitters, you know, really making sure your brush is a bit more dampened, or making sure that you're holding a paper under here to catch any fallout is going to be really, really helpful. And then also when you're applying shades like this, do not pat it in. You want to press it into your eye. Obviously do not hurt yourself. Please be safe out here. But like pressing it into the skin is going to help it to actually stick and not fall off of your eye. Pat McGrath apparently has this like product that you can use with these shadows to really help them stick a bit better and stand out a bit more. But if you don't have that product, the best thing is to use like a setting spray like I did here. Now, I don't want to add any more. I want this to be just like this. It's sparkly, it's pretty, but it's still subtle, and it's still something where I don't feel like I look like kind of wild. Like it feels comfortable for me. Last step, you already know what it is. We're going back in with that same fluffy brush, no product on it, or no new product. And we're just blending. And we're just blending. Another thing I would like to do sometimes is add a shadow right underneath my brow bone to highlight my brow bone. In this case, I'm actually good. I don't feel the need to do that, but that's another step that you can take if you would like. But for the last step, I am gonna go in, before I do my lips, before I do my mascara, I don't wear falsies, so I do my setting spray before all that. I'm gonna actually hold my hand over my edges because I am going out after this, and I do not want my edges to get wet. And I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray for my setting spray today. I've also been really liking the iconic London one that has a bit of sparkle in it, and that one is really, really pretty as well. Before we do our mascara, as our setting spray is drying, I'm gonna do lips. My favorite lip liner is a Morphe liner, and I heard that like Morphe is going out of business, so I need to figure out how to get my hands on like 50 of these liners before they're gone. I don't have it today, but I'm using another fave of mine, and this is the Sephora lip liner in the shade Mesquite. And then for lipstick, I have a couple options. I have Twig and Touch by MAC. I think what I'm gonna do is like mix. So I'm gonna do Twig on my upper lip. Really pretty pink shade. I look crazy right now, don't I? And then I'm gonna do Touch, which is more of like a neutral brown shade on my bottom lip, and just blend these two together. And that kind of makes this pretty pink combo. And then for mascara, I'm using the Smashbox Super Fan mascara. This one I really like because I always used to have this issue where mascara would transfer very easily to my upper lash line. You know, I don't have the longest lashes, but they are curly and they are a bit longer. This mascara, I find I don't have that problem with it, and it's not waterproof. As far as I know, I hate waterproof sometimes because it's hard for like it to come off when it's time to remove, even when you're using like oils and stuff. But this mascara comes off very easily, doesn't leave any residue at night when I take off my makeup, but it does not do that damn transfer thing that I always get with other mascaras. So I love it for that reason. Load up on this bad boy right here. Make sure the lash line gets some love, or the lower lash line gets some love as well. And that is the look, my friends. That is the look. Let me take this off so we can kind of see. I do have a gloss here. I have my Fenty gloss. So if you're a gloss gal, okay, we can apply a little bit of gloss to the lip, give it that beautiful sheen. This is the Fenty gloss in Hot Chocolate. So we can see what it does for us. Oh my God, do I need more lip liner? I feel like my lip looks like weird in this little corner. That's so pretty. Isn't that so pretty, guys? And that is the finished look. So we have just a really simple, easy eye. We have a focus on a flawless, beautiful base. I'm obsessed with this Makeup Revolution foundation. Highly, highly recommend. It is drugstore. I literally got that at Ulta. I think it's like 10 bucks. Like, amazing, amazing, amazing foundation. I am obsessed. I'm literally obsessed. Okay, my loves, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you really enjoyed it. Let me know down below in the comments if y'all like these get ready with me type videos, if you like kind of like more makeup tutorials. I know the girlies on YouTube have migrated over to the vlogs of YouTube instead of doing more of the makeup looks, but I am one of those girlies that still loves and is still obsessed with a makeup tutorial, especially one where someone is talking through what they're doing, sharing tips and tricks, telling stories, that kind of vibe. So if this is something that you enjoyed and something that you were interested in seeing again on my channel, please let me know down below by either giving this video a thumbs up or by commenting and just letting me know that you'd like to see more of these. But I want to thank you so much for spending time with me, for being here with me today. I appreciate you so much, my love. And yeah, let's go ahead and wrap this video up. I will chat with y'all in the next one. Bye.